Hey guys, I want to showcase the second update. I don't know if it'll be the last for now, but we've done quite a bit of work. And what I want to talk about, you're already familiar with the fact that I think in the last one we showed that light was required. Now, beyond this, so we've changed the prompt a little bit. Now you'll see that the growth has been halted because it needs a water source. And below that, you'll see the temperature requirements. So we're in the forest biome. There aren't many clouds. There's no rain, so the temperature is pretty good, set to 60 degrees. And don't focus on the temperature at the upper left because that's the player temperature. Each plant would have its own temperature based on its surroundings, and the plant temperature is quite different from the player temperature. So what we need to do is, I don't know if we'll find one around here. Let's see, maybe in here somewhere. What it needs is a water barrel, and usually it shouldn't be too hard to find. Let me pause all the zombies. So the water barrel essentially looks like this. So it's a plastic barrel. And whenever you loot them in the world, so let's say there was one over here, it would act as a container, and you typically find some water in it. So what you would do is you would pick it up, and as soon as you pick it up, it actually becomes a so let's get rid of the plastic barrels. It becomes a water barrel. And what you'll need to do next to your crop, you can see it says that there's no water source right now, and you'll be using these as the water source. And you want to set them maybe at this level or one level higher, not below this. And then what you'll see is that the tank is currently empty. And if I was to get a bucket, so I can go maybe in here. Let's go in here, get some water, say water from the toilet. So we filled the bucket up. And then you can use the right click to dump the water in there. As you can see, it went down because the plant will use one water per growth cycle. So essentially, every plant to get to its adult harvestable form will need 2 water. Obviously, this is, I've accelerated the growth here. But once it reaches its adult form, if we were to look at the barrel, then there should be 2 water missing. So each bucket would have 20 water. So every bucket, see, there's 18 now. Every bucket could fill this water source by 20. And if you were to use either murky water or boiled or distilled, doesn't matter, and do the same thing, right click on it. See here, I've got 659, so I could fill it up completely. So at the right, you'll see that it removed 82 of those and gave me 82 empty jars. And yeah, that's essentially how these plants will use the water source. If it's too far, see, say there's a water source. Let's see how far you need to be. Water source required. Don't remember how far. See, this is, so you'll have to have a water source every, I don't know, it's 4 to 5 blocks, 4 blocks maybe from the barrel. So you have to put a few barrels in. Each jar will essentially fill it up by 1, and you can use it as a source of murky water. It's only murky, so if you were to take, say I've got again 673 empty jars. If I was to take some of these and fill it with the right, again, I've gathered 88 murky water, and well, these have grown. these didn't have a source, but if I was to harvest this, see, it'll say that the source is empty again. So that's essentially how you're going to make sure that these continue to grow, is by having a water source and making sure that they're well hydrated. So this is the typical setup, and as you can see, it needs 55 degrees right now in terms of the temperature to continue to grow, and it's at 60. So what we're going to do is I've marked down a couple spots where I've done, so let's see, the desert, it'll be that way. So I'm facing here, there. So I've built a little structure. So we were in a POI before, and the reason why I do these structures with no windows is because I want to make sure that there's no light that goes through. So whenever you put a plant, let's say out here, let's say we do that, set up a water source, put some water in. Right now it runs at 70 degrees in terms of the temperature. And because you're in the desert, it'll use 2 water every cycle because it's really hot. So right now it's 98. It'll go down to 96 as soon as it completes its cycle. So what you can do is go in here and check the same thing. It says 70, but as soon as I close the door and I check, essentially having a closed room with no windows, no sunlight coming in will reduce its requirement by 10 degrees. So essentially it cools it down. And maybe at some point, once it reaches a certain threshold, I might make it only use 1 water instead of 2. So that's something I'll be looking into. The other thing to notice is right now it says light required. I've got some lanterns set up, but lanterns do not act as light sources. It doesn't even matter if I was to pick up the lantern and put it right next to it. It won't act as a light source. So see, you used up 4 in total and 4 in total here. So in the desert, being inside one of these will cool the plant's temperature. And then if we were to go to the snow biome, okay, it'll be around there. So facing this way. So I've created an even cozier spot here. Let's go check it out. So right now, if I was to look at this, so let's parse it. So right now I'm at 55 degrees inside. If I was to open the door, it actually gets colder. So it's at 45 degrees. So let's close this. Or actually, before we close this, right now there aren't too many clouds. Doesn't affect the weather too much. But if I was to add, let's say, clouds 0.5, so it's like 50% cloudy, and I was to look at the temperature, you see we've gone down to 40 degrees. So the more clouds there are, and it doesn't matter if it's in the desert, forest, snow, it'll all be the same. It'll go down by the amount of clouds that you have. And then if we were to add in some rain, let's say 50% rain, so it's starting to rain, and I go and check the temperature, it's gone down to 35 degrees. So now we've got an issue, because even if we close the door, it remains at 45 degrees. So this is where the heat source will become important. Right now, it's only the campfires, but having a campfire, and I think it's about 5 blocks of radius, and you turn that on, will add 30 to the temperature. So you see we're back up to 75 degrees, which is nice. So if we were to turn this off, and the reason why it's 30 degrees, because if for some reason you're at full rain and let's put full clouds, and you look at the temperature, see 35 degrees, open this, you're down to 25 degrees. So it's very cloudy and it's very rainy. But let's close this. And so we're back to 35, but we need another 20. So that's why that's here. The other thing to consider is that if I'm at night, so let's go to midnight. And I was to open the door, so we went down by 10 degrees. Now it's 15 degrees because it's nighttime. So that's why having this here will bring up the temperature. If everything was maxed out where it would be the coldest possible, opening the door, so having something outside wouldn't be enough, but being inside, having some fire will give you enough of this. And the obviously you have no light, so you need some light inside for it to start growing. And that's kind of it. Not much more to say about that, but I guess I'll share this soon. Have fun, try it out, give me some feedback if there's some things that you think we could improve on, and have fun.